Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Adventures of Azrael podcast. It's the podcast that I'm going to be bringing you up to date on the doings of the OCCW Pro Dojo, OCCW, and anywhere you can find the adventures of me, myself, Azrael. Now you might be asking yourself, who the fuck are you? And you know what? It's a valid question that you might ask. For there are over 11,000 wrestling podcasts in the world, but mine is going to be a little bit different. You see, I'm going to be bringing you up to date on the local scene in Southern California. Anything that hasn't been covered typically. There's many podcasts in the world, most of them by people in their mid to late 70s that haven't wrestled a match or ever even been in a match in several decades. So we're going to, first of all, let me let you know that the OCCW Pro Dojo, we're open every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. at 8381 Catella Avenue. I will link you to that information on the bio of the podcast. If you ever wish to join the incredible world of professional wrestling, I am here for you. Now, to give you a little bit of a teaser into my career, a little bit of information on my biography, because we're always very, very concerned with the legitimacy of the people that give us information. You see, any random idiot that's never even had a match can't just have a podcast and tell people his opinion. By God, you have to have some kind of credentials. And as I said before, I am Azrael. This is my co-host, Mazakine, and will you shut up? Will you let me talk? I know I didn't win the Bushido Cup. Do you have to make a big deal about it all the time? I've never won the Bushido Cup is a tournament that we have at OCCW every year. Currently, I have never won the Bushido Cup. It would be wonderful to drink out of, but no, I did not win the Bushido Cup. I was going to take a forfeit due to the disappearance of Vito Fratelli at the Bushido Cup, but then the Badass Assassin ran out, and I was happy. It was Merry Christmas to me. I was going to take an easy victory over the Badass Assassin, but then also Kali came running out because for some reason the honor and the Domo Arigato Mr. Roboto was very strong in his blood, and he felt the need that he had to also be in the match with me and the Badass Assassin. And then Kali was able to pin the Badass Assassin while I was currently indisposed, catching my breath on the outside of the ring. Therefore, I, Azrael, was eliminated from the Bushido Cup tournament without receiving a pinfall. And then Kali moved into the finals against Rilla Wolf. Rilla Wolf would eventually defeat Kali and then move on to win the Bushido Cup. Quite a feather in the cap of one Mr. Rilla Wolf. And then Rilla Wolf moved on to use his title shot that he won at the Bushido Cup to then move on, defeat champion the Rickster, and then become the champion of all of OCCW. Now, I am the trainer of the OCCW Professional Wrestling School. I am very proud of that fact, and people ask me, what, sir, are your qualifications for being the wrestling school, as I have not seen you on the WWE or AEW programs. And to let you people know, I have been wrestling since 2010. I was trained by Joey Ryan and Johnny Goodtime back at the Mach 1 promotion back in 2010. I've also been trained by the Vegan Superman, Jarrell Diaz, also Little Cholo briefly. Sean Ricker came through, TJ Perkins came through. I've been to many seminars, and I have about 14 years of experience and many, many matches, at least several more than even Dave Meltzer. And I would even say that I have had more matches than one James Cornette, the king of professional wrestling podcasting, the most famous podcast probably in the country and world. But the problem with that, you see, my friends, is that Jim Cornette has never physically been a combatant in a professional wrestling match. He doesn't have the athlete's desire to top oneself, the desire to take a bigger and bigger bump. and he hasn't had the need to obtain work in modern professional indie wrestling, where you are almost required to have a viral moment, something that you can use to promote yourself into the next week. If you were a part of the territory system, yes, Ricky Morton, yes, Ricky Morton and Bobby Eaton were handsome men in their day, woman. Yes, in their day. But, now they would be probably the large monster person on the card, whereas back in the day, they were the smaller person on the card. So the smaller and smaller the person, the larger and larger the trick that they are required to do to obtain the attention of the masses and acquire further and further work. You see, if you are looking to obtain work, to raise the notoriety, what do people do? What do they do? You have two options. I take a sicker and sicker bump. You can powerbomb somebody from the ring apron, right onto their head, right on the floor, light something on fire. You can do something incredibly dangerous, and then maybe you increase some notoriety and people, they want to see you do that trick. Then goddammit, they're going to put you to do that trick pretty much every week. And you're going to be forced to increase the difficulty of that trick until you die. Until you is dead. You will be no more. You will be thrown on the floor until you have many, many of the concussions, and you have forgotten why you even got into the wrestling profession in the first place, which is to make lots and lots of money. We're here to make lots and lots of money. You see, I enjoy professional wrestling. Professional wrestling you get paid for. I get money. I get bags of loot and doubloons, and therefore you get to have, you make house payments, car payments, things like that. You get to pay for expensive women like Mazikeen over here. You think those dinners just pay for themselves? I've got to make this money. And what you can either take, you take the dangerous bump, or you do the silly thing. And people get criticized for doing the silly thing, but the silly thing is one of your options if you don't want to murder yourself, and to how people become viral. And things that I've seen viral. A man throwing another man with his penis. Like I said, I was trained by Joey Ryan. That's something that he used to do. It's something that after getting numerous ass beatings for many, many years and working really, really hard, what do I do? You learn to wrestle with your hands in your pockets. You learn to throw people with the pee-pee. You learn to do all kinds of things like this. To the consternation, to the criticism of the older wrestling internet. The older wrestling internet is people where a 6'2", 222-pound man was the little person on the card. And we are no longer in that predicament, everybody. You see, you're going to have to reach down deep. You're going to have to work very hard. You're going to have to distinguish yourself from the multitude of people. The multitude of people that are part of the wrestling business here today. So, I'm going to present my point of view on the podcast. You see, many, many people have podcasts. Most of them 2 hours long and incredibly boring, talking about all kinds of nonsense that you don't even understand. But what I want to do is I'm here to try to tie together the entirety of the local wrestling scene. I want to give the information of the OCCW, Orange County Championship Wrestling Pro Dojo. That's me right there. I'm the trainer of the Professional Wrestling Dojo. If you want to begin your journey in professional wrestling, we are here to help you. You see, I look at the marketplace, and I look at what niche can I fill in that marketplace. No, damn it, I'm not an exotic male dancer. That you do that. You make an OnlyFans if that makes you feel happy. But you know what? I'm not gonna judge you for how you make a living, but I'm going to make my living with the professional wrestling. And in Orange County Championship Wrestling, we have a show, The Great American Brawl, coming up on August 3rd. And I'm going to be giving you the card and the rundown and the reasons why that is leading up into that program here on August 3rd. But as I was saying, I want to fill a need in the marketplace that I perceive. You see, whenever there is a podcast, a review of a show, so to speak, the people just lose their minds. Oh God, criticism. Oh, a stranger from the internet has besmirched me and made fun of me and my work. Because you see, if anybody makes fun of your work in professional wrestling, don't take it personally, listener, probably yourself a professional wrestler throughout the country. If people don't like your professional wrestling match, they're only making fun of the deepest manifestation of your personality and probably your physical appearance. Nothing that you should take personally. Just let that roll off like water off a duck's back and continue to, work in this profession that is incredibly difficult and often soul-crushing. And, any foible or mistake that you might have will be brought up by whoever happens to look made large, and all of your sins and wrongdoings will be put into your face in the course of your professional wrestling career. So it is an incredibly fun thing that I want to invite you to come by Monday and Wednesday and let me prepare you for your path in professional wrestling, where people who themselves cannot see their feet to tie their shoes will tell you how unathletic you are. And people that have never participated in any kind of creative athletic endeavor will be criticizing pretty much every word that you say. So enjoy that. That's something to look forward to on the program. So what I want to do here, see, I am not only going to criticize your match, I think it is a simple match. Yes, I know. A lot of matches suck. A lot of matches are very bad. A lot of matches have many, many mistakes, many problems with them, even on national television, by God. I can watch AEW and make fun of things offhand fairly easily. So what we're going to do is, I'm not only going to tell you that your match was bad. You see, I want to tell you why your match was bad. I want to tell you why it didn't make sense. Your footwork's messed up. Your timing is off. Pretty much nothing that you do makes sense. Your offensive repertoire is boring. And you did not encourage either hatred or love of the assembled masses. You see, that's something that we are going to get into on the program. If you have a particular match, a segment, a show, something that you want me to lampoon on the program, go ahead and link me to that, show it. I'll go ahead and watch it. That will put you to the top of the pile. Otherwise, I'm going to get to it when I get to it. And sooner or later, I probably will be mentioning you. Yeah, you. Everyone that's ever pissed me off. We're going to go ahead and find you and talk about your foibles in a public setting. So anyways, there was a podcast, but maybe about a month or a half or so, and I get a phone call from Sean Black saying I defended OCCW on the podcast, and I had to respond, defend me from what in the court of public opinion? See, Mazakine, you've been watching the OCCW program religiously over the last 8 years, and I must say, and you would agree, nice lady, that I have been a highlight of the program everywhere that I have been. You see, I am a staple member of basically every wrestling show that I have become a part of, due to my command of the English language, which far exceeds that of lesser mortal men. And you would see that we have run a show every month, even a couple months into the plague there, much to the consternation of the assembled populace and the peasants with the pitchforks running at me, screaming, Why would you run your legally allowed program with the legally allowed number of people in this alley so that you can continue to pay bills? You evil son of a bitch. If PWG, who flies people in internationally and packs them in shoulder to shoulder, would be a great risk in time of the plague, isn't allowed to run, then why are you with your very select group of families allowed to run? And you know what? Sometimes bills got to get paid, and if it's legal to do, your boy Azrael likes to wrestle. He likes to wrestle for money. He likes to continue to do these things, and I'm gonna go ahead and do these things despite the criticisms of the local populace. And if you've ever had a problem with me, believe me that I'm gonna have some things to say about you on the podcast. So go ahead and link me to anything that you find interesting. I'm gonna start with the OCCW program, things that I am most directly linked to, and then we're going to go ahead and venture out, I'm sure, into the parts unknown. Now, you're like the 11,000th guy, Azrael, to make a wrestling podcast, and you, unlike various other people that have ever been on a podcast, have not been, you're not a millionaire from the wrestling business. For example, if I were to say, that Kevin Nash's opinion on the wrestling business is outdated in modern times, and that his advice doesn't necessarily apply to the 5'8", 180-pound individual competing on a local level, and you'd say, something, hey, I make a lot more money than you, and fuck you, too sweet, and justifiably so. But if I feel like if you are yourself not 7 feet tall, then you probably need advice from somebody that also is not 7 feet tall. You see, if I was 7 feet tall and well over 300 pounds in a time of steroid allegations, I feel like I could have gotten paid more money by the WWF in 1995. Would you say that that's fair? You know what? I agree. I agree that is fair. No, I know that you're not just a head. If you were just a head, that would be stupid. That'd be a stupid idea. Obviously, you are a whole body. You're a whole body. You're a whole person. And I value your opinion, and thank you for being my co-host. But if you are reliant on Shawn Michaels, okay, and Bret Hart for your even passable in-the-ring matches, I feel like your advice is a little bit skewed away from the person who has to deal with people from the wrestling school, or with 5 or 6 matches under their belt. I feel like that's a little bit different, Kevin. It's a little bit different. And you see, my advice playing out on the local level in live wrestling would be a little bit more applicable to what most people are doing. If you want to, look, if you're 5'8", 170 pounds, and you want to do 5 moves and slow it down and focus on telling that story that you're unclear of as to what exactly that is, then by all means, and I will look forward to seeing you over the next decade in the local area. But you are probably gonna have to showcase a little bit more of the flippy athleticism and a little bit more of the dropping on the head. And if you want to see flipping athleticism and people getting dropped on the head, I have plenty of it coming up on August 3rd. Go ahead and check out the OCCW Pro Dojo YouTube. We got an incredible match between Cali and Biagio Crescenzo that I'm sure Kevin Nash would have said, slow down, what the fuck. There's no ab stretch in this entire match. They're constantly running around. People are constantly getting dropped on their head. See, I, in 2024, as a person that is still trying to make money and work in professional wrestling, thought that this, was a fantastic match, a 5-star affair, and you go ahead and check that out on the OCCW Pro Dojo YouTube. I can put a link to that if you're confused as to how YouTube works, but you're on YouTube watching this right now, so I figure, by now you can figure out how YouTube works. But I will help you if for some reason you're Bill Chu or you're 97 years old and you don't understand how phones work. Go ahead and flip that phone over, type in the YouTube, go ahead and look at the match, and then go ahead and let me know your thoughts on the match. So I'm going to go ahead and be narrating matches as we go, and I will be moving on to probably WWE and AEW shows. And then we're going to be doing lots of local shows. I'm going to probably show up at one of your local events, and God help us both. But I am going to take a look at that and let you know, what you're doing wrong, of course. Because people have always been very free about their criticisms of me over the last decade or so. So I'm going to go ahead and give you some. I feel like there is a thirst. There is a thirst. There is a need for a Jim Cornette-like podcast in every local area to let people know, what they're doing wrong, how I'm coming for you, so to speak. So anyway, we're going to be going, and I'm going to be filling that niche for you, have no fear. So August 3rd, OCCW presents The Great American Brawl at 8381 Catala Avenue. At the top of the card, we're going to have Rilla Wolf versus Cal Lee in a rematch of the finals of the Bushido Cup, as I was mentioning earlier. Yes, it was a very good show at the American Legion Post. It was a wonderful show with lots of people there, and the highlights of that are also available on the YouTube. You can go ahead and take a look at that. I am going to be fighting against that no good ingrate Jack Bruce Davidson. Jack Bruce Davidson is a very nice person. He's a very nice man, and I must say that sickens me personally. He has a very uplifting message about people not having to ride through hell together. And I would like to... You are a grown man. You are on your own. No one cares about you. And I am going to be driving Jack Bruce's head into the ground repeatedly until he learns the lessons that I've been desperately trying to teach him over the last couple of years. And we are going to be bound together. You see, because I am the ghost of your career future, Jack. And if you don't find a way to be a little bit more cutthroat, a little bit more desiring of these wins and losses, you're gonna be here with me forever, young man. And that's not something that either one of us is really looking forward to. But on August 3rd, it's gonna be quite a bloodletting for the assembled populace. We're also going to be doing the Richter versus Ramsey Snow, the man from the north, the defender of the Night's Watch versus the New Age Berserker, the Wolverine. Fire! A song! We're going to have a song of fire and ice. And you know what? I'm going to be getting into a little bit of reviews of House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones as the podcast wears on, because I believe there is a wonderful, beautiful story about zombies fighting knights with the backing of dragons and the cyclical nature of magic that's all really been obscured by you people wanting to watch people fuck their aunt and or uncle, because that is what you people enjoy. That's why you tune into the HBO, you sicky perverts. But I am here for the recreation of medieval history and the exploration of the wonderful lore of a specific country. And don't be making those bedroom eyes at me, woman. We're gonna be getting finished here anytime now. And we're gonna be seeing Ronnie Angel versus, from the good old USA, Ronnie Angel versus the Canadian Steven Styles, coming down all the way from the frozen north of Canada to make his debut in OCCW. So we're looking forward to those matches, plus some boxing expositions, and also whatever else, if people decide to show up, whatever happens. You never know exactly, but it's going to be a great American brawl. We just had a celebration of Americans' freedom, and now we're going to have a celebration of America's violence on August 3rd. Now you might say to yourself, you are no Eric Bischoff, you are not a commentator, and you were not vaguely competitive with Vince McMahon for about a year and a half and have managed to parlay that into 20 years of relevancy. But you know what? I too have a voice. I too have opinions. I have been working in this local area, been finding work in independent wrestling, and I want to help you also find independent work all throughout the world of professional wrestling here in Southern California. I'm going to help you navigate the ins and the outs, and we're going to be discussing all of these things and all of these shows on the Adventures of Azrael podcast, coming to you whenever I film more of them, which will be pretty soon. So let's go ahead and wish everybody a good night. Good night. God bless. God bless America. And a good night to everyone. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.